Get ready to unlock the secrets of the most powerful beings in the universe, the Vishanti. You might have heard of the Book of Vishanti from the recent blockbuster hit Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, but did you know the book is just a small part of the larger and more intriguing story? The Vishanti are a group of three godlike entities held in high regard throughout the mystic arts since ancient times. They have appeared in numerous stories if and when called, so let's journey back to the beginning and discover the origins of the Vishanti, those three deities who have been worshipped and revered for eons. Get ready to uncover the mysteries behind the Vishanti's immense power and explore the hows, whys, and whens of their creation. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. The creation of the Vishanti. The Vishanti are a triumvirate of otherworldly beings with godlike abilities that serve as guardians of the Earth realm and patrons of the Sorcerer Supreme. Ashtar, one of the illustrious elder gods of the Earth, possessed the unique distinction of being one of the first life forms to be created when the living biosphere, the Demiurge, gave birth to life and created the world. As a deity, she was imbued with remarkable abilities, and her wisdom was unparalleled. Ashtar's insatiable curiosity led her to explore the vast reaches of space, and she left her earthly abode to embark on a cosmic journey of discovery. As fate would have it, Ashtar was absent from Earth when Set and Chthon corrupted the minds of the elder gods and turned them into demons, paving a way for a period of chaos and destruction. Gaia was the only surviving goddess among the elder gods, who later, with the Demiurge, gave birth to the god-eater, Demogorge. With his mighty power, Demogorge was able to slay many of the elder demons. During her interstellar sojourn, Ashtar chanced upon Hoggoth, the last surviving member of an ancient alien chapel. Despite the differences in their backgrounds, Ashtar and Hoggoth formed a close bond, and they exchanged vast amounts of knowledge and wisdom. When Ashtar was willing to return to Earth, Hoggoth accompanied her. The two travelers explored the vast expanse of the cosmos, relishing the many wonders they encountered. Eventually, Ashtar and Hoggoth returned to Earth, where they were confronted with a grim reality. Ashtar was dismayed to learn about the tragic fate of her fellow elder gods, who had fallen prey to corruption and destruction. She contacted Gaia, Set, and Chthon, and the four deities struck a pact to never cross each other's paths and keep each other's affairs distant. Ashtar's compassion for the nascent human race was profound, and she was tormented by her promise not to interfere in the face of the atrocities committed by Set's serpent men and Chthon's Nagarai demons. Despite the constraints placed on her by the pact, Ashtar was determined to aid humanity in any way possible, and her unwavering commitment to this cause marked her as one of the most benevolent and caring deities in the cosmos. One fateful day, Ashtar happened upon three young children playing. Overwhelmed with emotion at their innocence and joy, a single tear rolled down her cheek. From that tear, a child was born. A child that would grow up to be Agamotto, a great scholar and mentor of the mystic arts. As fate would have it, Ashtar and Agamotto eventually formed an unparalleled alliance with Hoggoth, leading to the formation of the Vishanti Trinity. Agamotto's passion for magic was so great that he felt compelled to share his knowledge with humanity, which he did by recording his findings in the legendary Book of the Vishanti. Powers and abilities of the Vishanti. The Vishanti is often referred to as the most powerful entity in the mystic realm. Its members are each formidable in their own right, with even Galactus acknowledging that any one of them surpasses his own immense power. Ashtar. Among the three Vishanti, Ashtar holds a particularly unique position. As an elder goddess, she wields a level of power that exceeds even the mightiest gods of Earth in its prime. Her strength is so immense that it can rival her own brother, Chthon, whose presence is a piece of bad news to the whole universe. Many sorcerers have bestowed upon her the title of omnipotent and frequently seek her aid through her mighty hands. Given her status as an elder god and her exceptional abilities, it is clear that Ashtar is a potent member of the Vishanti. Hoggoth, one of the last surviving members of his race, possessing exceptional mystical powers that rival those of several elder gods. Though much about his abilities remains shrouded in mystery, the mere fact that he is a part of a trinity is a testament to his immense capabilities. Agamotto. As the child of Ashtar, he was always set on a bright future, but he did not attain his powers until he was separated from his mother. Agamotto was curious, and the mother's son were happy in each other's company. For her son to find his own purpose, she left him alone. Then Agamotto went on a quest, a journey to find his mother. This journey embarked him to attain his powers and learnings of the universe. He mastered the three forms of magic, creating the three eyes of Agamotto. Agamotto grew into a powerful mystic and a great teacher. Through him, Ashtar could protect humanity from her brother and other demonic elder gods. The three eyes of Agamotto, the Eye of Power, Knowledge, and Trust, appear in the comics at various times to help and guide the sorcerer. Later, Ashtar and Agamotto combined their powers with Hoggoth to create a formidable trio called the Vishanti. Agamotto was passionate about magic and used his talents to promote the study of magic among humans, which he documented in his masterpiece, the Book of the Vishanti. Thanks to his efforts, Agamotto was bestowed the title of the first Sorcerer Supreme of Earth. Shumagorath, and the Sorcerer Supreme. Agamotto was a fickle being who often felt emotions strongly. Whenever he saw humanity giving in to the temptations of Chthon or Set or falling short in some way, he would get fed up with them and retreat from their midst in disgust. But even though he would forgive them eventually, it would take decades or even centuries for him to do so. Sometimes Agamotto would try to find a suitable successor, but unfortunately, all the mages he chose would either die or become corrupted, which made him very sad. Many ages ago, a man named Genghis approached the Vishanti and asked them for magical powers and knowledge. In return, he agreed to select the most powerful sorcerers and mages on Earth every century and test them. The one who proved to be the strongest would be named Earth's Sorcerer Supreme, and their job would be to protect the planet from the Vishanti's enemies. In exchange, the Sorcerer Supreme would be able to call upon the Vishanti's powers. Agamotto and the Vishanti agreed to this arrangement because they believed Genghis to be wise in the ways that Agamotto was not. When the evil Shumagorath threatened Earth, Agamotto became the first Sorcerer Supreme of the planet. From that point on, the role of protecting Earth and representing the Vishanti officially became known as the Sorcerer Supreme. The Vishanti's role in defeating major Marvel villains. Time and again, the divine beings of the Marvel Universe have showcased their prowess in fighting evil and protecting the inhabitants of Earth. Their intervention is often a sight to behold, and one such instance of their appearance was witnessed in The Lurker in the Labyrinth, a special appearance of the Sorcerer Supreme, Dr. Strange. In this gripping tale, Dr. Strange finds himself captured by Slagooth, a monstrous reptile-like creature, and Princess Abora, a worshipper of the greater evil. Bound by chains and weakened by negative energy, the Sorcerer Supreme is perplexed by the situation and eager to unravel its mystery. As Dr. Strange looks around, he discovers that the village of Starksborough, located near the ocean cliff, is under the spell of Shumagorath or its ungodly followers. The spell has transformed the villagers into non-human, reptile-like beings, all at the behest of Abora, who has orchestrated this evil plan. The Sorcerer Supreme's powers are severely weakened by the negative energy emanating from the village, making it difficult for him to even move his cloak of levitation. Despite his best efforts, Dr. Strange is unable to break the spell, and the situation appears grim. In a moment of desperation, Dr. Strange calls upon the Vishanti, the greater gods, to aid him in this battle. The three deities appear, surrounded by a golden light, discussing whether to interfere in the battle or trust Dr. Strange's abilities to overcome evil. As the golden light fades away, Dr. Strange feels let down by Vishanti's lack of intervention in his hour of need. However, little does he know that the Vishanti have a plan of their own. They know that Dr. Strange is capable enough to fight his own battles and only needs a little help. With this in mind, the Vishanti lift the evil aura of Starksborough, enabling Dr. Strange to use his magic powers to their fullest potential. Empowered by Vishanti's aid, Dr. Strange unleashes his fury on Slagooth, defeating him in a fierce battle. In the end, the Sorcerer Supreme kills Slagooth thanks to Vishanti's timely intervention. Although victory is far-fetched after the death of Slagooth, Abora calls for another being from under the sea called Slamber. This tale is continued in the next edition, where Strange fights the Slamber and defeats him with the help of Vishanti and the Ancient One. This shows that the Vishanti have guided the followers of the mystic arts whenever it seemed necessary. For major story arcs, Vishanti offers power to Dr. Strange in War of the Seven Spheres. One morning, as Dr. Strange sat down for his breakfast, he noticed something odd happening with his tea leaves. Little did he know that his strange sensation was just the tip of the iceberg. As he traversed through various universes, he found himself in the midst of some bizarre happenings. The silence was deafening in the Quabalon universe, where intelligent bioplasmids use music as currency. The Ouroboros realm, which was perpetually in a state of self-digestion, was now regurgitating. Even the Stasos universe was missing its arrow of time, with molecular activity visible everywhere. To add to his confusion, an old wound that had long since healed was suddenly throbbing with pain, leaving Dr. Strange at a loss for words. As he grappled with these perplexing developments, he was abruptly interrupted by an intrusion into his sacred space. Men had forcefully broken through all his magical spells and attacked him with all their might, but when he used his magic to reveal their true forms, he was stunned to see Gothic cyclobeans, creatures that defy all physical and supernatural laws that were never supposed to visit Earth. This breach of universal sanctity clearly indicated that something sinister was brewing in the cosmos. As Dr. Strange tried to fend off these creatures, he found they were multiplying and growing stronger by the minute. Faced with the daunting task of taking them down, he called upon the Vishanti for help, and they arrived in no time. With their help, Dr. Strange finally found the answers he had been seeking. They revealed that the War of the Seven Spheres, a battle between superior beings, including deities and demons, was about to commence. It was to be fought amongst the two opposites, the Vishanti and the Trinity of Ashes. The Vishanti expected Earth's Sorcerer Supreme to fight alongside them, but Stephen Strange refused, fearing for the safety of Earth. With the war expected to last for several millennia, he couldn't risk leaving Earth unprotected for such a long time. Despite the Vishanti's power, he chose to reject their request and forge his own path forward. The Vishanti were fuming with rage at Stephen's arrogance and lack of gratitude for all the help and support they had offered him. But Stephen was not one to be easily cornered. He tried to escape, hopping from one reality to another, but soon realized that there was no escaping the wrath of the Vishanti. Despite their anger, the Vishanti once again offered Dr. Strange to join their side in the impending war, but to their dismay, he stood his ground and adamantly refused to take their side, preferring to use his free will instead of relying on mystical powers. The Vishanti had had enough, and with a wave of their hand sent Dr. Strange hurtling back to Earth with no powers to his name. As he lay there, powerless and vulnerable, he received a message from Clea. She informed him that she had been tricked by Flix, and the notorious Dormammu had returned. Dr. Strange knew that he had to act quickly, but with no powers at his disposal, he was at a loss for what to do. It seemed as though he was fighting a losing battle, but he refused to give up. The Vishanti pay a visit to Sorcerer Salome. After losing his powers and being infected by Salome's dark magic, Dr. Strange created a forge to hide and conceive new, dangerous forms of magic. To protect Earth, he split his soul into two etheric doppelgangers, Dr. Vincent Stevens and Strange. He transformed his sanctuary, which was a cavernous great hall, into a trap for the witch, but one of his traps backfired and attacked him instead of Salome. He realized that Salome's magic was still inside him, which he needed to find a way to get rid of. Otherwise, all his plans would turn into ashes. He decided to free himself from negative thoughts and emotions like anger and fear, which were the result of Salome's dance. While the chaos was brewing on Earth, Dr. Strange and Dr. Vincent Stevens had gone rogue and were causing trouble. Away from this chaos, freeing himself from the petty emotions, Dr. Strange started looking for Salome but got nothing but disappointment, which is when he decided to talk to the Orb of Knowledge. The Orb broke the news to him that Salome was seeking the powers of the Vishanti, and Clea had joined forces with Dormammu. Overwhelmed by anger and frustration, Dr. Strange had lost all hope. He was disappointed in himself and believes all this planning had gone to waste. After a fierce internal battle within his mind, body, and spirit, he realized he needed to prove his powers before he could help Clea or reach Salome. With hard work and determination, he excelled at experimental magic and armed himself with esoteric weapons. Salome was furious that even with the powers of the Vishanti, she could not find Dr. Strange. The stage was set for an epic battle between the two powerful sorcerers. The Vishanti fight against Slorioth. Anthony Druid made a risky deal with Slorioth to save the life of Jillian Woods, who was gravely ill. The agreement was that Slorioth would save Jillian, but Anthony would have to give up his soul in return. Unfortunately, this deal was a trap, and Slorioth used it to gain control over Anthony and make him his servant. As a result of Slorioth's release from his prison, the Earth was shaken by breaking tectonic plates, causing earthquakes and strange things to start happening all over the United States. The disturbance affected the subconscious of all living beings and caused an increase in paranormal activity. Despite the assistance of powerful heroes, the Secret Defenders were unable to stop Slorioth, as the entity they were facing was only a small manifestation of its full power. Slorioth had the ability to manipulate reality and time, and its actions threatened to cause a catastrophic event that would impact the entire universe. Even the powerful Vishanti recognized the danger, but they chose not to intervene directly because the confrontation between them and Slorioth could lead to devastating consequences for the universe. The Vishanti, using their wisdom, summoned the Living Tribunal, a being with immense power and authority, to deal with the threat. The Vishanti presented their case and argued that Slorioth had broken pacts that were vital to the universe's stability. They acknowledged that the War of Seven Spheres had to happen, but Slorioth was meddling with time and trying to bring it forward. This would have disastrous consequences for the universe. They couldn't allow it to happen. After hearing the arguments, the Living Tribunal came to a decision. It declared that Slorioth was a danger to reality and action had to be taken to prevent further harm. So, the Tribunal banished Slorioth from the universe, ensuring that he would never again threaten the universe's stability. It was a decisive action that had to be taken to protect the universe from the chaos that Slorioth would have caused. What happened after the Vishanti returned Dr. Strange to Earth? After defeating Salome, Dr. Strange found himself in the good graces of the Vishanti once again. However, this time they had a different request for him. They asked him to become their soldier and fight in the War of Seven Spheres, a battle to be fought in other dimensions and rage for 5,000 years. The Vishanti were impressed by Strange's new power source and believed he would be even more valuable to them in this war. Although he was hesitant at first, Strange eventually agreed to become their soldier on the condition that he would be returned returned to Earth at the exact moment he left it. He didn't want the Earth to remain unprotected while he was away fighting in another dimension. The Vishanti accepted his condition and sent him to fight in the war. The war was a long and grueling one, but Strange fought bravely, and in the end, the Vishanti appeared to be on the winning side. They kept their promise and returned Strange to Earth, where only a few seconds had passed. Unfortunately, the war had consequences that Strange could not have foreseen. One of the significant artifacts used in the war, the Spear of Sarakath, landed on Earth and was studied by technomages, unaware of its powers. In their ignorance, they accidentally released an entity called Buell, a gremlin lord who had been imprisoned on another dimension during the war. Thankfully, with the help of Spider-Man, Dr. Strange was able to destroy Buell and the sphere before any further harm could be done. Marvelous verdict. To sum it up, the origins of the Vishanti offer a mesmerizing glimpse into the mystical and supernatural realm. The Vishanti have been referenced in various stories and pop culture references. The story of the Vishanti is much larger and more intriguing than what meets the eye, with their creation and origins dating back to ancient times. Exploring the hows, whys, and whens of their creation not only provides insight into their significance in the mystic arts world, but also allows us to better understand the impact of supernatural beings on human mythology and storytelling. Overall, the story of the Vishanti is a captivating journey that reminds us of the enduring fascination with powerful entities beyond our human understanding. If you liked our content, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.